You still, I don't think you're coming around. You're trying to act
I think he's the 15th or 16th best quarterback.
Okay, that's underrated. That's underrated.
If you look at the weapons that Brock's working with, he's figured that offense out. He understands what his position is. He doesn't try to make a big play.
I'm tired of hearing about Brock Purdy and what a great pick Brock Purdy is and how Brock Purdy is going to win a Super Bowl. Get out of here. Mr. Irrelevant is not winning a Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan, I'm tired of him too. How about win a Super Bowl?
Hey, I don't know if you'll admit it. If he was the 8th quarterback or 8th player taken in the draft and had done exactly what he's done.
I will admit that.
And even I would feel even more confident.
But I feel like that's sometimes like circular.
The guy they selected 262nd overall, the one they literally couldn't have valued any lower, just signed a 5-year, $275 million contract. That's $55 million per year, the 5th largest quarterback contract in NFL history. And the entire league has a problem on their hands because nobody can figure out if he actually deserves it. Here's the thing. There are 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Most of them were first-round picks, guys who had scouts drooling over their arm strength since high school. Purdy was different. 6'1", average arm, played at Iowa State, a school that's never produced an elite NFL quarterback. On draft day 2022, he sat at home with cake and balloons while 261 other players heard their names called first. When the 49ers finally selected him with the absolute last pick, his family erupted in celebration. They recorded it on their phones because TMZ sure wasn't going to show up for Mr. Irrelevant. But now, that same Mr. Irrelevant is getting paid more annually than Matthew Stafford, more than Jalen Hurts, sitting right alongside Lamar Jackson and Justin Herbert in the quarterback salary rankings. And the debate that's tearing the football world apart isn't whether he's good, it's whether he's actually him or just a product of the system. Because if it's the latter, the NFL just watched a team hand out $250 million to a guy who might be the most replaceable franchise quarterback in league history.
The single hardest thing I had to do this year was act like Brock Purdy deserved to be in the conversations with the other people we're mentioning in next week. We had to continue to include him in conversations with the Lamar Jacksons. We had to continue to include him in conversations with the Josh Allen.
All right, the story really begins in 2022, and not the way anyone expected. The 49ers had invested everything into Trey Lance. 3 first-round picks traded away to move up to number 3 overall in 2021. Lance was the future, young, athletic, cannon for an arm. Then week 2 of the 2022 season happened. Lance scrambled right against Seattle, got hit awkwardly, and his ankle bent in a direction ankles aren't supposed to bend. Season over, just like that. So in steps Jimmy Garoppolo, the veteran, the guy who'd already taken this team to a Super Bowl. For 10 weeks, the 49ers rolled with Jimmy G. Then came week 13 against Miami. First quarter, Garoppolo drops back, plants his foot to throw, and immediately crumbles. Broken foot, another season-ending injury. The 49ers' backup to the backup just went down. At this point, San Francisco had the look of a team whose season was about to completely derail. Enter Brock Purdy, 3rd string. Hadn't thrown a meaningful pass all year except for taking a knee against Carolina. Now he's being thrown into a game against a Dolphins team that was rolling. And here's where things get weird. Purdy didn't just manage the game, he carved them up.
They get it off. Purdy looks to throw. Use check. Touchdown, San Francisco.
25 of 37 for 210 yards and 2 touchdowns. The 49ers won 33-17. Purdy became the first Mr. Irrelevant to ever throw a touchdown pass in a regular season game. Suddenly, people started paying attention. Kyle Shanahan named Purdy the starter for the rest of the season. And the kid didn't lose, not once. He went 5-0 in the regular season. In the playoffs, he dismantled Seattle 41-23 in the wildcard round. Then came Dallas, another win, 19-12. The 49ers were heading to the NFC Championship. Mr. Irrelevant had won his first 8 career starts. But this is where the doubters started getting loud, because those wins came with an asterisk the size of California. The 49ers roster was absolutely stacked. Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, fresh off a trade from Carolina and playing like a man possessed. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle catching passes, an offensive line featuring Trent Williams, arguably the best left tackle in football. And Kyle Shanahan calling plays, the same Kyle Shanahan who'd made Jimmy Garoppolo look like a Pro Bowler and briefly convinced the league that Matt Ryan deserved an MVP. The criticism was simple. Sure, Purdy's winning, but put any competent quarterback in that situation and they'd win too. He's a system quarterback, a game manager, someone who doesn't lose games but doesn't win them either. The 49ers could plug in 15 different guys and get the same results. This narrative grew stronger when Purdy's rookie season ended in heartbreak. NFC Championship against Philadelphia. Early in the first quarter, Purdy scrambled and got hit, elbow injury, ulnar collateral ligament tear. He tried to bottle through it, even came back into the game in the fourth quarter because backup Josh Johnson had gotten concussed. But Purdy literally couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards. The 49ers lost 31-7. And just like that, the Cinderella story ended with surgery and questions. Would he even be the same player when he came back?
How he plays the game is, I tip my cap to him. I mean, there's some of the stats, what he was able to do from an efficiency perspective. You might be able to make the case that there hasn't been a more efficient quarterback in the history of the game, in how he played this year.
Those questions lasted exactly one offseason, because in 2023, Purdy came back and absolutely lit the league on fire. The 49ers opened the season 5-0. Purdy was dealing. Through 17 games, he threw for 4,280 yards and 31 touchdowns, with only 11 interceptions. His passer rating hit 113.0, leading the entire NFL. He set the single-season franchise record for passing yards, breaking a mark that had stood since the days of Joe Montana and Steve Young. At one point, Purdy was the betting favorite to win MVP. The kid who went last in the draft was being mentioned alongside Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson as the best quarterback in football. He earned his first Pro Bowl selection. The 49ers finished 12-5, won the NFC West, and rolled through the playoffs. In the divisional round against Green Bay, Purdy struggled in rainy conditions for 3 quarters. The 49ers trailed going into the fourth. But when it mattered most, Purdy led a 12-play, 69-yard drive that ended with Christian McCaffrey punching it in for the game-winning touchdown with under 2 minutes left in the NFC Championship against Detroit. Down 24-7 at halftime, Purdy and the 49ers mounted one of the greatest comebacks in conference championship history. He threw for 174 yards and a touchdown in the second half alone. The 49ers won 24-21. Brock Purdy was heading to the Super Bowl. Mr. Irrelevant was about to play on the biggest stage in sports.
Back is Jimmy Garoppolo, or in this case, it's going to be Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, 2 games at home with the best team in football. You won home games.
Do it on the
now.
And the debate exploded into something nobody could ignore anymore. Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, 49ers versus Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, the guy everyone agreed was the best quarterback in the world, going head-to-head with Purdy, the guy half the league still thought was a fraud. For 3 quarters, it was a dogfight. Purdy played well. He made throws, he moved the chains, he kept the 49ers in striking distance. Then came overtime. All Patrick Mahomes needed was a touchdown to win it, and he delivered. Mahomes marched Kansas City 75 yards down the field and found Mecole Hardman in the end zone for the game winner, 49ers 22. Purdy had played well enough to win, throwing for 255 yards and a touchdown with no turnovers. But Mahomes had been just a little bit better when it mattered most. And that's when the narratives really started flying. Mahomes elevated his team. Mahomes made something out of nothing. Purdy? He managed the game. He didn't lose it, but he didn't win it. The system quarterback label stuck harder than ever. Because at the end of the day, Mahomes has 3 Super Bowl rings. Purdy has 0.
This team, Shanahan has done a remarkable job of keeping this team together and playing, and that's with injuries across their defense. They keep finding ways to win.
But here's where things get complicated. Because the 49ers still believed in Purdy, and they were about to prove it by paying him. Going into the 2024 season, Purdy was entering the final year of his rookie contract. He was set to make just over $1 million. Yes,
You read that right. 1 million. The going rate for a franchise quarterback in 2024 was north of 40 million per year. Purdy was playing on 7th-round money while leading a team with Super Bowl expectations. The debate all offseason centered around one question: how much is Brock Purdy actually worth? Some people said pay him like a top 5 quarterback. He just led the league in passer rating, taken his team to the Super Bowl, and proven he could win big games. Others said absolutely not. He's a system guy. Pay him 35, maybe 40 million per year max, because that's what a good quarterback in the perfect situation is worth. But don't mortgage the franchise on a guy who might crumble the second his supporting cast isn't elite. The 49ers didn't extend him before the season. They decided to let him play out 2024 and see what happened. That decision turned into a disaster.
You want to see him do it without the great supporting cast. And what I'm saying is, outside of Patrick Mahomes and maybe Lamar Jackson, because he hasn't had great receivers necessarily, what quarterback out there is doing it without great supporting cast?
The 2024 season was the ultimate test of whether Brock Purdy was the real deal or just a system quarterback. And it answered the question in the most complicated way possible. The season started with chaos.
I guess injuries for the game. Bryce Huff will be out. Brendel out. Utour out. Ricky out. Purdy out.
Christian McCaffrey, the reigning Offensive Player of the Year, missed training camp with a calf injury. That calf injury turned into Achilles tendonitis. He didn't play until week 10. Brandon Ayuk, coming off a 1,300-yard season, held out through training camp in a contract dispute. When he finally signed his extension, he looked completely out of sync. He finished the year with just 577 yards and 4 touchdowns before getting hurt. Deebo Samuel dealt with injuries all year and saw his production fall off a cliff. Ricky Pearsall, their first-round pick, literally got shot in the chest during a robbery attempt before the season even started. Trent Williams missed significant time with an ankle injury. George Kittle went on injured reserve. At one point, the 49ers were on their 5th-string running back. Jordan Mason, Isaac Guerrero, Elijah Mitchell, all hurt. The injury list looked like a hospital ward. By the end of the year, Football Outsiders officially ranked San Francisco as the most injured team in the entire NFL. They finished 31st in offensive adjusted games lost and 30th in defensive adjusted games lost. Essentially, the 49ers were hurt everywhere. And in the middle of all this chaos, Purdy himself went down in week 4 with a turf toe injury that kept him out for 6 weeks. When the dust settled, the 49ers finished 6-11. They missed the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Purdy's stats took a hit. He threw for 3,864 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions with a 96.1 passer rating. Those are fine numbers for most quarterbacks, but for a guy who just led the league in passer rating the year before, it looked like regression. The doubters came out in full force. See, that's what happens when the system breaks down. That's what happens when Christian McCaffrey isn't there to bail him out. That's what happens when Deebo and Ayuk aren't running wide open on play action. Purdy's not a franchise guy. He's a product of his surroundings. But here's the thing. There's another way to look at that exact same season. Because yeah, the 49ers went 6-11, but with Purdy in the lineup, they went 6-9. Without him, they were 0-2. Purdy's supporting cast completely fell apart, and he still posted a 96.1 passer rating, which was better than guys like Dak Prescott, who had a full healthy roster and still flamed out. Despite missing 6 games and having basically no weapons for most of the year, Purdy finished with a 67.9 total QBR. That ranked 7th in the entire NFL. Better than Patrick Mahomes, better than Jalen Hurts, better than Sam Darnold, who'd made the Pro Bowl. When you actually dug into the numbers, Purdy had elevated that broken roster far more than most people gave him credit for. But stats don't matter if people have already made up their minds.